Hey, what's up, everyone? Back for this Thursday night showdown slate between the Jags and the Titans. It's not a very appealing game to watch, but I think it could be kind of fun for fantasy just because there's a lot of different ways that you can make lineups for this game and lots of different ways that I could see points being scored. It's not like some other games that we just had with, last showdown. We knew it was going to come from Julio Jones, Carson Wentz, even with the injuries. But I think this slate, it can come from a lot of different options, so we'll take you through what I like. And let's get into it. Before we get started, you can drop a like and subscribe down below. We are closing in on 7,000 subscribers, so thank you everybody that's been watching the football videos. I really appreciate it. If you want to join us, you can visit the website, links in description. I also posted the NBA special because it's coming up literally in 30 days. I think like 30-something days, the season starts. So it's very, very soon. But let's get into it here. We'll just talk about each player, and then we'll look at some kind of roster construction plays. I like Derrick Henry a lot. It's hard not to like him. He definitely has slate-breaking upside, or even on this one-game slate. He has been carrying the ball, 19, 15 times. Not a bunch, but we've seen them hand the ball off to him 20-plus times, 20 to 25 times last season. And he's definitely going to have a couple 100-yard games. He's definitely going to break one. In week one, he had a huge pass that went for 75 yards. He's not much of a pass-catching back. That's why they have Dion Lewis there. But he's still a great candidate to get all the red zone looks, the red zone touches near the goal line. They're just going to feed him the rock. And I think in a matchup against Jacksonville, they're kind of dysfunctional as a defense. They still have some good players with Jalen Ramsey wanting out. We'll see if that affects some of the other players and some of the team itself. But Derrick Henry is still very good play, probably one of the top projected plays on the slate by far. Mariota is fine at 10,000. He's on the road here. He's never a very safe quarterback. You never really know what you're going to get out of him. But the thing that you do like is that he does have speed. Both quarterbacks in this game have mobility. I prefer to go the other way if I was just picking one quarterback with Gardner Minshew, just because he is at home. He's cheaper too. But I think Mariota's a fine play as well at 10,000. Fournette's struggling the first 2 weeks. He wasn't able to get into the goal line on that fourth down conversion last week. He hasn't broken one. He hasn't been super involved in the passing game, just 4 catches in each. But no touchdowns. He's fumbled once. So he's been struggling, but I think he's going to break out soon. It's kind of tough because with the Jags not having a ton of great pass-catching options, it's tough for him to really, the teams are just loading the box against him. So unless he gets into the end zone, it's going to be tough for him to consistently make value, but, I think he's still a good play against the Titans defense. So far they've been pretty bad against the ground. They've been good against the pass, and, with the Jags running an inexperienced quarterback, I think Fournette should have a heavy workload. So I prefer Henry to him, but I still like Fournette. I'm not going to fade him. And, if he goes for a touchdown and goes for multiple touchdowns, then, your night's over. I do like Gardner Minshew here. He has mobility. Last week he ran for 56 yards. He was really good with the ball. Only had like a 77% complete. Oh, that was week one. Last week he was still solid. Completing the ball 23 of 33. He doesn't take a ton of chances. He's not like chucking the ball downfield a ton. But I think he's a good safe quarterback that has mobility, can run for a first down, can get you, 4 or 5 yards, 4 or 5 points just by running with the football. At 9,200, I definitely prefer him to Mariota here, just playing at home, and I think the Jags are going to win this game. Delaney Walker, he's been Mariota's favorite tight end. If you're looking at weapons from the Titans, it's kind of tough once you get past Walker and Corey Davis. Davis hasn't done much this year, but I will still take a chance on Davis here. So before we get into it, I just want to show you guys some of this tool that you can use, Football Outsiders. Here you can look at snap counts. So once we get into some of the receivers, I'll show you the percentage of snaps they're playing. But so far, all these guys are playing most of the snaps here that we've talked about. Like Walker's playing all the tight end snaps. Here, Chark Jr., he has looked really good. His connection with Minshew has been good. It was just one game, so I'm not getting carried away here, but he's definitely outperformed D.D. Westbrook. But if you look at it, Westbrook is still playing just as much snaps as he is. He's playing even more snaps. Now, last week in week 2, he played 87%. Westbrook played 87% of the snaps. Conley played 85, and Chark actually played the least with 82. But all three of those guys are in play. That's what I would have in my player pool. And then if you look at the Titans here, they also have Corey Davis plays a bunch, and then they kind of mix and match with their other guys. So I still think Corey Davis at a very cheap price tag is going to have a great game very soon. And if that comes today or comes tomorrow at low ownership, I would like that. 83% of the snaps for Corey Davis in week 2. Nobody else played more than 60%. So I will still trust Corey Davis to these other guys. But yeah, I like Chark. I like Westbrook a lot here for tournaments. I'll probably go to him than if I was just picking one, just because Chark at a similar price tag is going to get a lot of the ownership. So Westbrook is appealing. Conley's hurt. If he's out, that makes all three guys are really pretty similarly priced. If Conley's out, I love Westbrook even more. But if Conley's in, you can look to him as well. All three of those guys are viable, and I would have interest in all of them. Now, they're all similarly priced with playing 80+% of the snaps. Either one could have a good game and break into the end zone. I like Corey Davis a lot, 6,000. He was supposed to take a huge step forward this year. Hasn't really happened, but I think, it's not. It's kind of due to Mariota not really looking his way a ton. He just hasn't got a ton of targets. But he's still, like I showed you, playing most of the snaps at receiver. Only guy playing over 80%. And at this cheap price tag, even though it's going to be matched up against Jalen Ramsey here, I think he could have a decent game. So at that 6,000 price tag, unless Jalen Ramsey gets traded within the next couple days or by the game tomorrow, then I won't have a ton of interest in. I won't have like 100% of Davis, but I think mixing him in a few is still fine. Here, AJ Brown, he has big time speed. He can definitely break one. He just had 3 catches in each of the first 2 weeks. If Davis does get neutralized by Jalen Ramsey, I like him to have a much better game. And on the other side, and I like both kickers here. I could see a low-scoring game where the kickers are very viable and the points that the kickers get. Neither offense is, a very high-scoring offense. If they get into the other team's territory, I think a lot of the time they're going to have to settle for field goals, as both defenses are pretty respectable and both offenses are not great. So I like both of those kickers here. And then the Jags have 2 tight ends that play pretty similar. The first guy, O'Shaughnessy, plays like 65% of the snaps, and Swain still plays like 50+. Both are fine if you're not getting a huge upside with them. I think the kickers probably have more upside than either one of the tight ends. And I don't see myself going to anybody else that's, cheaper than Jeff Swain. So let's look at a couple builds here. I'm going to start it off with Derrick Henry as a captain. I think he has the highest floor, one of the highest ceilings on the slate. I'm going to pair him with Mishno here at 92. I like the price tag on him a bunch, like I mentioned. I'm going to try to get Chark and Westbrook in here. Both guys are pretty appealing, pretty similarly priced. And if you want to, if you do want to take a chance on Corey Davis for GPPs, I like that. And then you can go with like a kicker here and leave 300 on the table. If you're scared off by Corey Davis, then you can probably go to his teammate, AJ Brown. And then you could pay up to a defense. Here you could go to either Dion Lewis or you can go to the Jags defense. Lewis hasn't made much of an impact at all. So I think it's gonna really depend on the game script. It has to be like they have to be trailing by like a bunch for him to take all the work away from Derrick Henry, but I don't see that really happening in this game. Or I could just play the kicker and just keep money on the table. I think you can go up anywhere else from wide receiver. You're close to getting into Delaney Walker territory. Actually, you could go up to Walker, and then you could play, instead of playing Stamkos, you could play Lambeau. Don't really have a preference between either one. Both kickers are pretty fine and pretty solid. Lambeau is a really good kicker. He doesn't miss much at all. So you could do something like this. You don't have to worry about Ramsey here. I don't think he's going to be on Brown. You get a solid wide receiver in Chark. You get pair him with his quarterback. You get Walker, Henry. I like this one. See what we can do if we get both kickers here. I think this could... Nobody really likes to get both kickers in a lineup. But I think in this kind of game, on a short... both offenses are not great in general. And then playing both of them on a short week could see a pretty ugly game. So if we do something like that, I still like... this time I'll go Mitch now at quarterback at the captain here. Then we could probably even get Mariota, get both quarterbacks, and you still have a bunch to work with. You can get Henry. You just missed out on Fournette here, but you could go with like a wide receiver here, or even... there's no way you can get... Unless you don't play Henry, you're not going to be able to get Fournette in there. But you could go with like Westbrook here, and then you can just eat that $1,200 on the table, or you can upgrade your captain, go from play Henry at captain if you want. So this is something else you can do. Or if you don't like Mariota that much, you could play Fournette here, and then you can play Walker instead of Westbrook. So there's a lot of different ways that points can be scored in this game, but I think there's just a few players that it's going to be concentrated around. I think the trick might be to leave money on the table this week. Once we get the injury news with Chris Conley, that's going to be big. But I think leaving some money on the table is fine. We don't really have a great idea of who's going to catch the passes from Mariota, the three guys besides Corey Davis. Even if Davis is guarded by Ramsey, it's going to open up the door for some other guys. So we'll look at one more here. Let's see. This time we'll try to get both running backs in there together. If the passing game struggles, then both these guys could have solid games. I find it hard not to have 9,200 Mishno in here at in the flex or at captain. We're down to 68. We still got to fill out our captain. We'll see how much money we have once we get some of these receivers here. Still going to take a chance on Corey Davis, and probably, I still like him, even though the matchup is tough. And I think everybody's not going to play Corey Davis this week, so I'll take a chance on him. If you're just playing like one of the $10 contests, it doesn't hurt to just take a chance on Davis at low ownership. I don't see myself really going to anybody else on the Titans, like besides him and Brown. I don't have a ton of interest in Humphreys, even though he's cheap. Just don't think Mariota's not much of a passing guy, and I don't think he's going to look his way a bunch. But we still have plenty of room to work with here. See if we go Westbrook. We have 7,000 left. We're going to need to probably play a kicker here, so I'll probably go back to play Mishno at captain. At 9, it's going to be more expensive now. He's going to be 13.8 and then 2.4. Just missed out on playing O'Shaughnessy. See, try to get Lambo in there. And the way to do it is by keeping one of these guys. It's going to be by not playing Derrick Henry in a lineup. Trying to get Mariota in there. And then if Chris Conley's in, you can do that. You get both quarterbacks here. Take a chance on Corey Davis. You get a running back in Fournette. And you get a Lambo. Get a kicker in Lambo. That's pretty solid. So that's what I'm looking at for this Thursday slate. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. You can comment below who your favorite play is down in the comments. And if you have any questions, you can leave them there as well. Thanks for watching, and good luck today.